Previously on A Tribute to Uncle Ben.
We began our series by laying out the basic shape of Spidey's ring using the extruded surface, swept surface, and filled surface tools. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series, where we'll lay out the surfaces for our power and infinity symbols using some unique sketch tools. Be prepared to increase your sketching powers in this part of our 4-part surfacing series. Let's start with the power symbol. We need to be able to extrude this sketch from this top face only. So first I'm going to use the offset surface tool to create a surface 0.02 inches below the outer surface of the ring. In other words, our power symbol will be recessed into the ring 0.02 inches. Let's draw the power symbol using a few of the slot sketch tools. We'll start with the little known arc slot sketch tool to create a circular slot shape. We'll use the center point arc tool, first clicking on the origin to set the center of the circle, then clicking where we want the top left portion of our slot to be, and moving counterclockwise, clicking where we would like the top right portion of the slot to terminate. We'll use a simple straight slot to complete the symbol, and I'll add in some dimensions and relations to constrain the sketch to the size we want it. Let's ensure the endpoints of our circular slot are horizontal to each other, and I want the end of my straight slot to be coincident with the origin. Let's just set a few dimensions here to get the size right, and we'll dimension the line weight of both the straight slot and our circular slot to make sure they're even. Finally, to fully lock this sketch down, we'll set the radius of our outer circle. Notice time and time again, with every single one of my sketches, I'm making sure that they're fully constrained. Now let's extrude this surface, but instead of extruding from the sketch plane, we're going to extrude from the offset surface we created. Let's extrude at 0.04 inches to ensure the surfaces extend past the outer surface of the ring for trimming later. You'll notice when extruding from a uniquely shaped surface, the ends of the extrusion take on the shape of the reference surface. Now let's begin laying out our infinity symbol. We're going to extrude this from the face opposite where the power symbol lies, so again we need to create an offset surface. However, this time we're going to extrude a positive out from the surface of the ring, so we'll set the offset to 0. Now let's sketch on the top plane again. We'll begin laying out this infinity shape by sketching its negative space first. And here's a quick shortcut for creating arcs tangent to a straight line. When using the line tool, simply back up to hover over the previously set point until you see the small yellow box around the point. Then continue on to set your tangent arc. Let's set a few relations and dimensions here to help in constraining this sketch. Now let's set the diameter of this arc to 0.05 inches. Now to create the line weight of this symbol, I'm going to use the Offset Entities tool, set at 0.05 inches. And now we can simply mirror this sketch to create the other half of the symbol. First, you must have a center line sketch to mirror about. Then we'll use the Mirror Entities tool to mirror our sketch across that center line. We have a few unneeded lines here that we want to trim away, and the trim tool itself has several options to choose from. Just to name a few, we can use the Trim to Closest option, where you select each line individually to trim them to their nearest intersection points. Or there's the Power Trim option, which allows you to hold down your left mouse button and essentially sketch through the lines you want to trim away in one motion. Again, let's just set a few relations and dimensions here to make sure our sketch is fully constrained. The biggest thing I want to make sure is my angled lines are collinear with each other. Now that we're happy with our infinity shape, we need to split the sketch in order to create an S shape to act as a reference surface. We'll explain why we're doing this in part 3 of this series. But for now, let's split this sketch up while at the same time avoiding the loss of the constraints on the sketch. We'll first draw the horizontal lines where we want the S shape to terminate, and we want to split the sketch arcs in half in order to create the shape we're after. So we're going to use the Split Entities tool to split these arcs in half. We will get a warning that the midpoint or equidistant relation that was automatically set on the arc segments is going to be deleted. Don't worry about this for now, as we'll fully constrain this sketch again in a moment. Let's select anywhere on the 4 arcs to split them. We'll select the entities that we'd like to convert to construction geometry. And then reset the split points to be coincident with the horizontal lines that we drew. Let's add in a horizontal relation to lock our horizontal lines back down. And finally, draw in some straight lines to complete our S shape. Now let's exit the sketch and hide our ring's outer surface to reveal the offset surface we created earlier. Similar to how we extruded the power symbol, we're going to extrude this S shape from the offset surface, this time towards the inside of the ring. Now let's create the other half of this infinity symbol by mirroring this S shape across one of its planar faces. Enter the Mirror Entities tool, select the planar face to mirror about, and in the Bodies to Mirror selection box, select the S-shaped surface body. Alright, we're well on our way to infinite surfacing power. Stay tuned for part 3 of this series, where we will use these infinity surfaces as references for some more complex surface tools.